So it's enough hood evidence to show that this man is a rat. He told on his crime partners he didn't do any of the things in this crime that he alleged he did. He claimed that before this he had had a shooting and he had a stolen car, and none of that's in evidence or in court records. He doesn't have any felonies. That's why he's able to possess a gun and why he's on the witness protection program. So this dude is a registered liar. He's a fantasizer, and he has everybody hoodwinked on who he is. And regardless of that, I just didn't appreciate that I came on your show after he told us that we couldn't come to Texas and do anything, and that couldn't nobody prove that he was a rat, and anybody that would say he was a rat, that he would give him an award, a reward for that. We come to collect. We got everything, 900 pages of testimony in the Antoine Doolittle's trial, where the major testimony and the number one witness was Charleston Dion White. And he had made a deal to testify against his co-defendant in 1991. So there you are, Charlie. We got you.
I don't believe he's going to pay the $50,000 or the $25,000.
Somebody gonna pay it.
He sure
Well, if
should.
he doesn't, we trying to come with a resolution at the forefront to get a young man out. It's a tragic case all the way around the board, and we're hoping that we can at least get Charleston White to quit going up to this young man's parole board hearing and giving a witness impact statement, as opposed to coming and speaking up for the young man, such as their family members that want this young man released. And we felt it's an injustice that the young man should be doing this time at this day and age, is to where a 15-year-old kid has been in jail since he was 15 and now 45 because of the testimony that somebody willingly participated in a crime but chose to tell on everybody before he thought they was going to have a chance to tell on him. Because we have to remember, these other three youths took the fifth. One took a deal, the other one got us slain, and Antoine Doolittle never testified on his behalf in court because Charleston White had sealed the case and the casket on this young man's life with his possibly fraudulent and tainted testimony. So this isn't about whether he been snitching or whatever he did prior to that. We're going off the transcript records of what was stated, and we feel that the discrepancies and the statements that he's been making can arguably get this young man back in court for a reduction in hearing and possibly a dismissal, which we doubt. But we're just trying to get the young man some relief because, as we stated before, we feel that his voice is silenced behind the walls that keep him incarcerated.
Yeah, he's been in jail, what?
30 years.
30 years.
And some change.
As a 15-year-old, that's horrible.
Yes.
How old was he, 15 or 16?
He turned 16 4 days. He turned 16. The crime happened September the 18th. His birthday was September the 24th when he turned 16.
So
he's 54 years old now.
That's horrible. I mean, yeah, they've you know, they be doing that, man, trying kids as adults, man, and that's nasty, man. 30 years is a long time for a crime you committed when you were 15 years old.
It's 30 years is a long time to be married, let alone be in prison.
Right.
Why would you want to with a woman for 30 years? I'm just saying.
After 30 years with the same woman, you might be ready for jail.
It's life without a possibility.
Okay. I hear you, man. I hear you. Well, since our last interview, videos have surfaced of Charleston White detailing raping a woman. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not. Have you seen it?
No.
Let me show you.
An actual video of him actually doing that, or him saying that?
Saying it.
Talking about it.
But it's pretty damn convincing, I'll tell you.
Right.
And there's another one too. Mm-hmm. There's another video where he openly admits to it. I mean, they openly admits to it quite a bit, man.
We after this is when this concluded, it'll be people that'll be brave enough to step out and put Charlie where he really need to be.
You had mentioned, or somebody had mentioned that something happened to him when he was in juvenile hall?
Yes.
He was assaulted or something?
Sexually assaulted.
He was sexually assaulted.
What they say, abusers become abusers.
Exactly.
And this is one of, what is the other guy's name that with this Hassan Jackson? DuPont or
Dewberry?
Dewberry. These two coons here, they give so much praise to Charleston White when he was in his glory. And Dewberry, he did like 20 years in prison. This Hassan Jackson, he was in New York State Prison, and there's some question marks about his sexuality also. But how do you be influenced by somebody like this that's such a fraud? And you talk about how eloquent he is and how on point he is about prison, and everything he talks about getting convicts being fucked in the ass. I did 25 years and I never wanted to fuck. It ain't just like that. Everybody is not homosexual, they go to prison. And he puts it, and for all those soothsayers that want to believe this type of rhetoric, you know, it just adjusts to the crowd, that he has a sick crowd that wants to believe what he says and have no evidence of it. So, yes, it's been told that when he came in Giddings, that he was first. This is a little boy that weighed 97 pounds with one eye. And the most vicious system it is in the system is the juvenile system. It's worse than the penitentiary because everybody tries to be grown. Everybody wants to be a man, and you have to stand up on your word. So I start bullying people. I take care of I do what I do to the weak and make him. So they had him going on missions, had him doing different things, and they were molesting him in his first 6 months in his facility. And the only way that he said he had to go to the hole to get outcried, he was the worst in there. But the only thing that made him survive when he found out he was in a facility by himself, he fought the administration so he wouldn't have to go back to the dorms with the people that he was in the dorms with. So after he had been there about 2 years, this lady, Miss Pumple, gave him the book of Gangster Cody. And he read the book. And he became a real Crip. Because in Dallas, them guys didn't know nothing about what was happening on the West Coast. And once he read the book, he a hell of a guy, read that book with one eye. He read the book and started naming names and saying things. And when he got out, he started professing to people like he was Moses. And they was like, oh shit, Charlie, hell of a guy. He a real Crip. And he started talking about his homeboys. But all his homeboys, the people that introduced him to Crips was 60 Crips, had never been to California. But the man that he admired, who he knew was a super Crip, was an 8-tray gangster Crip. And he didn't know the difference. And none of the people he talked to knew the difference. And once he got out, he put that banner on. And he looking in Facebook, he's looking everywhere, and he looked up on Melvin Farmer. Oh shit. He put his pennies together and he came to the West Coast to see the master. And then just like every other serpent, he turned around and bit the master and went back and put out a gang of venom about what happened. Not saying that our coast is the best coast, but everybody want to be like Compton. All over the world. So somebody that hadn't been there, my only problem was Charleston White. For whatever he said, Melvin handled, I don't handle LA. I don't do nothing in LA. I'm from Compton, 10 square miles. We have our own problems. And he opened his mouth and said something about one of my people that I took offense to. And all I wanted to do was talk to him about it. And Melvin set it up. And people in this media feel like he came on your show or he came to California. We went to Texas on his turf and made him run out of the studio. Because you can't handle the truth. This gonna kill him.
And you know, the last time I checked, the last time we was in Texas, I said there'd be no debates. There is no debates here. We have a man that talk about changing the penal system, changing rap, changing gang banging, do the right thing. He needs to do the right thing. It's like calling a kettle black. Somebody else's house is dirty, but yours just as dirty. How do you expect change when you can't make change with the things that you did when you made a mistake in life? Until we correct this wrong, it's nothing that he can say that can validate or change anything. He has no vested interest in it. Right now, you have to stand up and bite the dust. He said nobody could prove that he had any documents where he could snitch. Stand on your words. We have it right here. We don't honestly expect no $25,000, $50,000, but if you stand, well, Marv, I'm saying we honestly, I do too, since he bragging about what he got. But at the end of the
Charlie,
day,
we got the paperwork.
It always come back to us, basically trying to get this young man out of prison. I don't care about nothing. I don't even look at social media because of the words that are exposed, telling, I showed this. That's idle fodder. To me, it's really not news. It's just somewhere somebody holding up a camera, making a podcast, but does it really make news? It's like entertainment, lip boxing, tongue wrestling, and verbal gymnastics is what I see going on the internet, and I don't want no parts of it because the FBI are watching, Homeland Security is watching, all the alphabets are watching this. The internet is being used by blacks to where it's being misused. So many times we're risking our life to try to go viral, to try to go live, to try to become famous. And in the end, very few are really successful at that game or doing that. You really must have talent to succeed in the entertainment, arts, acting, rapping, all this. So once again, I'm not attacking nobody, not going at nobody. I'm just going for justice for Antoine Doolittle at the end of the day.
Yes, that man definitely deserves justice. I agree with you guys. You know, I think it's very dirty that he has show up to a parole hearing to try to keep that man in jail, especially after the family has forgiven him. So, which I even believe Charleston White has said that the family has forgiven him. I think I seen somewhere in one of his interviews he said that. So, you know, it's pretty disgusting, if you ask me.
Right.
Okay.